Okay, guys, welcome to episode I don't know. I think we're on 50 something. But today, I'm speaking to the fastest man that I know and one of the fastest people in the UK, right?
UK, Europe.
Europe. Oh, there you go. You see, he said that.
He
said that with a tone. And Europe. He's also got a FIFA card as well. That's when you know you've made it.
The stats are a bit dodgy on it though.
Oh, really?
Look at it. Pace 84. Come on.
Bro. Come on.
They just went straight for power.
It's the only thing I have. Big welcome to Harry AA, a.k.a. Harry Aikines-Aryeetey.
He nearly got it.
Aryeetey. I didn't want to get it wrong. I had it.
Do you know what it is?
But I couldn't say it with chest.
I can't say it with chest. You can never say it because it's Aikines-Aryeetey in it. So obviously my parents, if you really want to say it with chest, it's actually Aikines-Aryeetey.
Aikines-Aryeetey.
That's the African.
Because you know
that's
what?
The African
I was looking over a few clips of like some of your races, and I was always like, I wonder what the commentators are going to say.
That's literally why I'm called Harry AA, because if they try to say my name with chest, the race is done.
The race is done.
The race is done.
They're like, hold on, this guy from Great Britain.
No.
He's from Ghana, bro.
Let's give him Harry AA. That's it, Ghana. Straight up.
No, but yeah, it's really good to have one of the fastest people as well as Harry here.
I clocked that 2 seconds late, as well as Harry here.
You're not that fast, are you?
No, not that fast. A brain. Do you know what it is? I'm very trusting.
Yeah.
I'm just so trusting. I would never think anyone would say anything like that to me.
You know what? Every time, I think this is like the third time I've seen you, third or fourth.
Yeah.
And the first time I hit you up was actually when you said, let's all do like an influencer game.
Yeah.
Where there's going to be, we did like 100 meters, 200 meters.
Yeah.
Shot put, not long jump.
It was like a hybrid event. So it was like, a 60, it was a 150.
Yeah.
It was instead of like a natural shot put throw, it was a backward throw. It was a standing long jump and vertical jump, all them little athletic.
So basically everything Harry's good at.
Feats of athleticism.
Yeah. And I came from a little trip last year with Paula Lima and I said, I'm feeling very soft belly right now. I was actually about 5 kilos heavier than I am now. I'm like, Harry, I've never done anything on a track before. Can I come do a few sessions with you?
Yeah.
And you were like, of course. And the first thing you did, you invited me to your house. And I was like, Ross, sick guy. I've never met this guy. He's like, come to my house. So we came in here actually.
Yeah.
We did a session here and end up going really well. So I know you're a nice person just from that. When just you meet someone, you're just like, I don't know, you get that energy of, this guy's all about that.
That's us Ghanaians,
Yeah.
Is that Ghanaian hospitality? If you come to my parents' house, you're not allowed to come in and in the time that you enter the house, you're not allowed to leave unless you smiled and you're full of belly.
But you know what? It's similar to actually, you know what, it's weird because it's like every sort of like immigrant culture has that, because I don't think they have anything other than that.
It's food. Food is obviously food,
you got no
and
money.
Laughs. Yeah, that's it. So I'll feed you with whatever I have, and I'll make it tasty because most street food is tasty food. It's just poor man's food, isn't it? So I mean, we hype about jollof rice.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's rice.
It's rice. It's rice. And now you go to Camden, Brixton, they're making all these fancy restaurants. And I bet if you took your mum there, she'd be like, what is this?
What is this? I can cook better than this.
Why is this £12?
Why is this £12? Come on, it's too much.
So were you born here or were you born...
I was born in the UK. Okay. I was born in St Helier Hospital, opposite the track where I first started training, literally right opposite the road. Yeah. 1988. My birthday month is coming up, August.
Okay.
So born there. My two older sisters were born in Ghana. So I like to call myself, we're first gen UK people in it, because obviously like me and my younger sister were born here. So we've got quite a lot of influence in terms of our upbringing per se. Like, it's quite funny, telling people, like my parents, not that they were against me doing sport, for example, but it was all about academia and like, making sure that, you get your qualifications in this and that. I had to really fight to do what I wanted to do in terms of... Oh, mate, like...
Can you give me an example?
I think one time I'll give you a quick idea of what my family are like. One time I was driving home, my sister called me and said, Harry, can you pick me up? I'm at bowling. And I said, okay. Now, in our household, if you leave the house, you already know how you're getting home. So I said, hang on, how comes you don't know how you're getting home? Yeah. She was like, oh, well, mum's not happy with me. I said, why is mum not happy with you? She goes, oh, mum said I'm out of control. I said, what? I said, Charlene, what have you done? She now says, well, I've lost my travel card for the second time in a month. that's my parents for you. Okay. Love, but at the same time they're fairly. I was like, cool, okay, yeah, don't lose your travel card again. Yeah. So when I got like a bad report, now having told you that story, my report really wasn't that bad. Okay, it wasn't even bad. Okay. My parents were like, yeah, you're not going track. You're not. That's it.
You went to union that as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I didn't finish. Yeah. I paused it and then never went back. Yeah. But yeah, so even growing up, I remember, like, imagine I first got my first kit sponsor. I was with Nike when I was 15. So I was getting kit drops. And I think when I got
you were the guy at school.
Not even, like,
Harry's got the new gear again.
Not even. I was the token black dude in the school in my year. But I wasn't really that guy, if that makes sense. I was always just there. People respected me for what I did. But obviously back then,
but your parents were onto you.
They were onto me. Yeah,
you had to convince them before you.
Oh mate, like I said, I remember one time I think I lost the camera. I didn't lose the camera. They lost the camera, but they thought I lost the camera. They weren't going to let me go English schools. So like a national event, they weren't going to let me go. Like I remember, again, studies, some events were coming up. I got a kit drop from Nike, big box. It sat in their room for 2 months till I finished.
No.
This thing was sent for me, had my name on it. It's all for me. It was only when I won the World Youths, when I was double World Youth champion over the 100, 200. And like even that day when I came back, they were like, yeah, go do the washing up. I was like, yeah, okay. Back to normal practices. This is it. They humbled me, man. They humbled me. Everything they humbled me. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing you can do to make them. It was only when I sort of won young sports personality that they were like, okay, look, if you're going to do this, you have to do this properly. Because obviously, as a parent, I think it is one of those things where it's like, when they're up, grown, and, gone, yeah, they want to know that they've left you in a good position. So, my dad will see, I remember like he's seeing like people on TV, he's like, oh, come on, look, these guys, they're probably earning peanuts. You want something that's going to take you through life and this and that. Like, you want stability. Like, what happens when you get hurt? What happens when you do this? What happens when you do that? Yeah. So, for example, they've always wanted just to make sure that I'm good. Yes. When you have that family, when you have this, when you have that, you're good. So I'm so grateful for how they've brought me up because it's installed a lot of good, like you said, like these sort of cultural upbringings give you so much depth and so much power to move forward with, like,
and appreciation as well.
So much. The way I look at my parents, they're superheroes to me.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
superheroes to me, man. There's no like, we live in a world of Instagram, YouTube, vlogging, people documenting having one kid. My mum's got 4. My dad's got 4 kids. Yeah. They did it together and they worked. They were doing shift work. One parent would look after me during the day. I'll be seeing them like that. They did bits. If you documented their life, that would have been worth watching. Yeah. Whereas you're seeing, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that are doing great things, raising kids and inspiring others. But
but a lot of people now are soft.
Yes.
That's what it is, bro. Just say it, bro. They're soft.
That's what I'm glad.
My nan popped 12 kids in a village with no electric or no medicine. My granddad was pumping her like no tomorrow, obviously.
You ain't caring.
Yeah, he ain't caring. What, you think he changed the nappy? No chance, bro. He brought the money home. He brought the money home and she was home looking after the kids in a village. My dad used to tell me that they used to sleep boy, girl, right? Head to toe, like that. Yeah. So they don't fight. Even like slicing up cheese at breakfast. Yeah. My grandma had to cut up all even pieces so none of the kids fight. So like everything that we do that we over exaggerate, even the people nowadays when they're like, when these motherfuckers record people. Yes. I did this for a homeless person. I'm like, Just do it. Why your intention is obviously not good if you're recording it in like a...
If it's captured by someone else... Different story.
But
when you're doing it from the point of view of that person, like, I'm going to give this to this person.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think there's obviously a thought process behind it, because the intention may not be just solely for them.
Yes.
And I think don't get me wrong, if you want to try and show some form of movement and say like, look, this is what we should be doing to help people, then fair enough. But equally at the same time, if it's just sort of like, I saw this person and gave it to them, boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas it's like, I've been an advocate for trying to improve and bring light to some form of, unfortunate circumstances for some people, then that's different. But I know what you mean. But that's why I like sitting and talking with you, mate, because you're real.
Yeah,
see me. Remember, I'm an athlete. I've been media trained. Well, I say I've been media trained. So still, sometimes I sit there with my hat and I'm just sort of like, you know, when you watch the football interviews, and then certain man, it might be Champions League, knockout, but the guy will still say, just glad we got the 3 points, because they're trained to say that.
Harry's worried he might lose Derek out front.
Big old Derek.
Which is his car, isn't it?
Yeah, good old Derek, little defender out there. He's do you know what's funny though? Talking about cars, I've always found it synonymous. Whatever car I drive is how I perform.
So what does that mean?
Like in line with, like similar to.
Isn't defender slow?
Exactly. I'm injured right now. I'm wedged.
Okay. Right,
so I remember so I've got a C-Class. I do have a C-Class, not as fast as yours. It's a C-Class C250 diesel. And I got in it the other day and I forgot about the poke and it started moving, and I went to the track yesterday and I felt fast again. I'm moving now. So, and I remember I had one car, I had an A5, and it was just, I had it for a long time. And when it was coming towards the end, like the head gasket kept going, little sparks kept going, spark plugs kept going, sorry. And at that moment in time, I kept getting injured. I'm telling you, I always have like synonymous feelings with like movements of me running fast at my cars. So
sounds
basically,
like you need to invest in a Ferrari then.
Literally, I literally just need to go and get one car that can zap. I think the Defenders, they've got a V8 version. Yeah. So Land Rover, just sort me out one of them.
Sort them out, and then come over to me because my dad's asking me for a whip.
Sort him out. The thing is, do you know what it is? Yeah, you know when you see them stories about, like, obviously footballers sorting out parents' houses and cars. I would absolutely love to.
Yeah.
One day, if I could just turn around to my parents and be like, pull up to a crib and be like, it's yours.
It's yours. Yeah. I want to do that.
The absolute amount of wealth that you have to be able to do that in this day and age would actually be ridiculous. But I mean, shout out to them guys that be doing it.
Yeah.
But equally, that's some different form of aspiration. If you could drop a whip for your parents, like your dad, just be like, your dad, come.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it must be like hard for you in the sense of you have to concentrate on being an athlete, right? So like me, I run a business and my work is my coaching and all that stuff. So I concentrate to build that. But you're still in your prime of being an athlete. So therefore you're working on that. So if you were to put that energy into a business as well, it'd be very difficult to actually maximize yourself as an athlete, right? So hence why you got to do the things that you do. And even like you said, media training, you're kind of careful because there are sponsors watching, right? So because what is the deal with that? Is it like, okay, if I say this, I might lose this sponsor. Because you got a baby to feed. Congratulations, by the way.
I appreciate that. Little Aubrey Isla repping.
Beautiful,
10 months. She liked Darren, actually. Quite surprised. She don't really like men, She don't like guys with beards. She look at my dad and be like, yo. But yeah, no, you're right. It's do you know what? The world of track is different. So the way that I see it is I'm an athlete that's on the gram. That's the only thing that people want to see, is obviously because I'm an athlete on the gram. But equally, the world of track and field in terms of financial gain is actually very, very different to what it used to be. And when I say different, it's not as good. A lot of people might think that a lot of people out there, Olympics on right now, people are watching athletes, fighting tooth and nail for what we all sort of appreciate and dream of. But equally, some of them could just be, at home with their parents. They might just be renting. They might, the finances involved they're not fair. I'm going to say
okay.
they're not ideal,
Yeah.
but then that's because equally the sport needs to sort of market itself in a position that allows the revenue streams to come in to pay the athletes in the way that they should get paid. So, you know, I'm quite fortunate that I'm in a position that I have done well in the sport, and I've been able to put myself in good positions, and I've been able to do certain things. But things like Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, they've changed the game for us because you have to build a brand. So when you're talking about, you know, having to focus on this and that, you do have to think about how you're portraying yourself, because brands look at you differently now.
Yeah.
So you've got to market yourself. Previously, the way it used to work was a brand would come, look at you and say, you're marketable. Yeah, we can work with you. We can show you to our audience, and as you grow, you might be able to bring us in a different type of audience that we didn't have previously.
Yeah.
Whereas now, and to be fair, that sort of stopped. That era of, you know, marketing athletes in that perception kind of changed in around 2012-ish.
Okay.
Whereas now, especially in this day and age, you know, brands will come to you and say, what can you do for us? Or who are you? What have you got that we can utilize?
Okay.
So from that perspective, like, you know, going back, I remember 2014, I had one of the most like successful years as a senior athlete. I got second at the British Champs.
Yeah.
I ran 10:08 that year. I medalled at the Commonwealth Games, got silver medal in the relay.
That's 100 meters, by the way, for some of
4x1, in the relay. And I medalled in the European gold medal, the European Championship same year in the relay, and also got a bronze medal, so third in the 100 meters. Yeah,
mad.
So that was a great year. Off the back of that, did I have any sponsors? No,
Nothing.
My kit deal at the time, they tried to offer me like a watered down deal. And I was like, wow, like obviously that kit sponsor at the time was actually sponsoring GB. So it sort of made sense because obviously you're going to be wearing the kit anyway. So they can play tactics in that regard as well. So I just look back at that year and I think to myself like, wow, you've really got to be doing more for yourself. Whereas now looking at myself like, unfortunately I'm injured. Well, I'm coming back from an injury. I was at the European Indoor Championships where I was representing Great Britain, semi-final. I've snapped my semi-tendon. Okay. I've hurt myself before in circumstances, but now this time round, because of the way the world is with building socials, building a brand, even though I was hurt, I'm still signing deals. You know, I've just signed with Pure Sport, CBD. You know, if anything, they're going to help me on my recovery process because obviously that's something they're in tune with. But when I look back then, you could be as successful as you are. Sometimes in certain sports, they look at people because they like the idea of you doing well. When you do well, it's sort of like, okay, you've done it now. Let's look at someone else. Yeah. So it's difficult for, you know, when I look at some of my friends in the sport and I'm like trying to tell them like, I want them to come down, and it's taken me like 3-4 years to sort of build some form of rhythm to sort of be able to market products and market myself and still train and do whatever. But I'm trying to tell my friends, I'm like, and even youngers, I'm like, come train with me and I'll help you out. I help you build your brand. I help you push yourself in that degree because I'm a bit of a hybrid athlete. Yeah. Like you said, a lot of athletes will sit there and go, when I win that Olympic medal, when I run fast. But gone were those days where you're on your phone swiping. If something don't refresh in 3 seconds, you're moving on. Yeah, that's right. So how many people are watching the Olympics live? Very little. People will be streaming stuff. We're part of a streaming generation. Netflix, Disney Plus,
all highlights
Amazon.
On socials.
Exactly. And if anything happens, you need something to blow for it to go viral. Yeah. So for you to think that one performance is going to set your life up now, it's different. Yeah? Unless you're a Tom Daley who got his first gold in 4 years. Look at that journey that he's been on. 4 Olympics.
Do you know how I heard about that? Because he cried.
Socials.
Because he cried. It was on socials. And everyone was like, I can't believe the tears. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck's he crying
What's
about?
happened?
And then I looked
what's
into
happened?
it.
Yeah.
Because he did something that caught people's attention. And you're saying athletes don't do that enough.
And unfortunately, back in the, you know, if you go to Sydney, if you go to Atlanta, 96, if you go to Barcelona, 92, back in those days, if GB as a whole got 6 medals, you were like, as a whole nation, like every sport, you know, that was mad. And from that perspective, if you were one of those 6, that's where you got your name. That's where you got. Whereas now, I think we're only 3 days in and we got 10 medals. You know, I've been to 2 Olympics. Unfortunately, I couldn't try to make my point of going to this one.
So you've been to 2 Olympics?
I've been to 2 Olympics. Okay. So 2008, Beijing.
Why isn't that clearer on your socials?
I'm an Olympian, didn't I?
I looked everywhere, bruv. Okay, now we change the title. Harry AA, my first Olympian.
Double Olympian.
There you go.
Look, I'm a double Olympian. I'm a 2-time Olympian. world medalist,
Yeah.
multiple European medalists, multiple Commonwealth medalists.
Say it with chest, bruv. You see that? Sick.
The peck dance come in. See that?
That's it. Yeah.
But
Did you get that? Yeah, good.
But the point being is, when I first went to the Olympics in 2008,
Yeah.
and we all get it. Like, as an athlete, when I tell someone I'm an athlete, sprinter, they're like, I used to run, you know, in high school. Same way that some people be like, I used to play football, but my knee.
Yeah, my knee, innit?
My knee.
Yeah.
So in 2008, I remember going to the Olympics. That's it. I remember going to the Olympics, and the perception around it was like, bloody hell, Harry, awesome. You're amazing. Like 19 years of age. I had a back injury 2 years before that. Like, I was in a back brace.
Yeah.
The year before. So I managed to. So I'd won the World Youth double, won the World Juniors, and I was in a back brace all of 07. Come 08, boom, I ran PBs and I made the team. And just the general conception was like, that's amazing. You're an Olympian.
Yeah.
But 2012 come, and this is a good thing, but it's a bad thing. All of a sudden, it was like we started to become like the States. We finished like 4th in the medal tally. Like, you got sports like cycling, swimming done well. Obviously, that's when the cyclists all put us on the map. No, sorry, 2012, London.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was
It's cool. We're wiped out.
No, don't wipe it. Shows my interest.
No, but that's it. But this is what I'm trying to say. And because GB seemed to have done well, because it was a home Olympics as well, I remember like the general public would ask people like, so how did you do? It's not just you're an Olympian, it's so how did you do? And then going to Rio, we got shafted anyway in the relay in terms of lane draw and whatever else, but we there was a slight mess up, but we finished 5th in the relay, right? Now that's the one we've got like a world record for the time that we ran in lane 1, but nonetheless, we didn't get a medal. That's the only place I haven't got a medal. So coming back from Rio, because we've done well again as a nation, which is great, because obviously you want to do well as a nation, but all of a sudden, as Brits, it's sort of like, so did you medal? That's the general. That's the general feel. So like, because we're doing so well, so as an athlete, it gets
like
watered,
football fans.
Yeah, like it gets watered down.
Yeah.
It gets watered down without the financial gain, because these people, they're not walking away from this cake. These guys right now, they're not getting paid by the Olympic Federation. They're not getting paid. You get paid at your world champs as prize money, but right now it's an amateur sport. They do on their personal contracts, fine. But if they make it, if they do something big, even if you win that gold, if we've got 10 medals already and you finish 4th, or you get one of those bronzes, how are you then going to blow from that moment and make something for yourself? This is what I'm trying to say. Is this way it's important to build that brand. I know people that have got Olympic medals and still live, you know, good lives, like, you know, just humble lives, but you wouldn't think, some people think when I get that Olympic gold, I'm going to blow.
So if there was a young athlete in at the Olympics right now, what advice would you give to them? What would they do to get that exposure to help with them in their future? Like, say if there's a young athlete there, they're going to perform in the next few days at the Olympics, what would you say to them about building their brand?
I would say right now you need to take each moment and document it. Like, gone were the days where it's talking about going like blacking out and putting down your phone or whatever else. Just document moments, whether it be photos, videos, and talk about who you are.
Yeah.
Talk about the process that you've gone through, because by giving yourself an opportunity,
the story
before that, that's what I'm trying to say. So if you were to sit down, you're right, it's all about that story, because if in the build up to, unfortunately, I run the 100 meters, you'll see my face for all of 2 minutes in that lineup.
Yeah.
Then we run for all of 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And if there's no interest, obviously in the Olympics, you'll get your interview with BBC. That's your 2 minutes.
To sell yourself. Now, you might have won, you might have lost, you might have got knocked out, you might have advanced. I remember one of my friends, 2012, Andrew Asagi, he came in and, like, because he made the Olympic final with a rapid time in the 800 meters, he came in, he was like, leave it, yeah? And that's obviously back then when everyone was hyping about that sort of stuff. And that was amazing, because everyone could tune in and be like, I like this guy. Yeah.
I like this guy. I want to tune in, because there's 11,000 athletes there. Yeah. You've got to use this moment to give yourself a building block. But that moment of success, or don't be scared to fail.
Yeah.
Because in failure, people see some form of relatability.
Yeah, 100%.
They can get in tune with that.
Yeah.
They can see that you look at, like we said with Tom Daley, he's actually first Olympics, didn't medal, second one bronze, third one bronze, and now he's got his gold.
Yeah.
Now the story's all about him, but people are obviously forgetting as well. The guy it was synchro diving. So tell me the guy's name that got gold with him. You can't tell me. Exactly, because no one's hyping about this guy. I feel sorry for this guy. His first Olympics, I think his name's Matt. His first Olympics, he's helped Tom. Him and Tom have done it together, but obviously because of Tom's journey and everything that he's been through, that's what everyone's focusing on.
Yeah, okay.
The guy's an Olympic gold medalist on his first attempt. Boom. Amazing.
You know what's crazy about this episode?
Yeah.
We need to cut that, give to him so the Olympians can listen. The second thing is, I didn't land this up on purpose. But this is perfect time for the Olympics. Now we're talking about this. It's actually perfect. But it's funny that you say that. One of my mates, he plays for Jamaica. Michael Hector is a Fulham player. And when they played in the Copa America, they played against Argentina.
Sick.
Played against Messi.
Yeah.
One of the highlights, the reason a lot of people watched that game and knew about that game was because one of the Jamaican players that played in America, when the game finished, he ran into the changing room, grabbed his phone and did a selfie with Messi on the pitch. That got millions of views around the world, more than the actual game.
Mad.
Like, footballers were taking a piss out of him going, what are you doing? But
he sees his moment.
But it's his moment that he's there with
Messi, a
god to him.
Exactly. A god of, Ronaldo, Messi, Pele,
exactly,
Maradona.
Yeah.
These are gods of the arena. So what you're trying to tell me that if I see certain people in certain sports that I look up to, that I'm meant to ignore them. Don't get me wrong. 90 minutes, you play your game.
I'm right here, bro.
Yeah, 90 minutes. It's cool. I'm in awe. I'm in awe.
Yeah. No, 100%.
90 minutes, play your game, be professional. Outside of that, I know Roy Keane might have something to say with that. I love him. I love Roy Keane. I can't lie. I love him.
But like all of that stuff that they're doing, you love his personality.
Yes.
You're not even thinking about what he did before.
Nah. I mean, I'm a United fan anyway.
Yeah.
And I know what he did before.
Yeah.
But as a pundit, like, he's a bit like, he's an old soul.
Yeah.
In a generation that has moved on. It's nice to have his input in the way that he might say, because he says it in a nice way, but then equally the same way that, like, I think you yourself will break down certain things that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
There's a no bullshit attitude around it.
Yeah.
He's very similar.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think we need a bit of, because I'm not one of them guys on the gram or on socials that will call people out for something. I'm a nice guy. I'm nice. Dylan knows I'm nice.
Sponsor him.
I will kill you with kindness.
Yeah.
If you're horrible to me, I'll be thanks, mate. Thanks for the support, and I'll make you feel bad about that. Don't get it wrong. Touch me, I'll sue you. Yeah, I won't fight you. I'll sue you. Like, that's what I'm about. But I think when you've got people in certain sports that you're talking about, when you look up to them and you seize that moment and you're like, do you know what, I've just played 90 minutes against Messi.
Yeah.
I want to remember this moment.
Yeah, of course.
And I want everyone to join in and appreciate and see what this moment means to me, because unfortunately it's two ways you look at it. For those young Olympians out there, for those young sports people, for those young entrepreneurs, anyone that's trying to make something, document your journey, because in that one moment, you've got to think about your CV. Yeah. If you want people to tune in and get involved with who you are as an individual, look at Sha'Carri Richardson. She's a sprinter who, unfortunately, isn't at the Olympics at the moment. Her mum passed away, and she was smoking marijuana, and she won the Olympic trials. And it blew up because she pointed at the clock. She's quite majestic in who she is, her hair. Obviously, I'm Team Dina at the moment. Dina Asher Smith, that's my girl. So come on, Dina. But Sha'Carri, the way that she did it, it blew because it went viral. Michelle Obama was tweeting about her. All of these people have gone viral. However, in her moment of downfall, it came out, failed drug test.
Yeah.
So she got a few 100,000 followers off the back of that win. Bro, now, I think if she was on, I think she got up to maybe 500,000 followers, 600,000 followers off the back of the win. Now she's on 2.2 million because of the fact that she failed a drug test and that she's not allowed to run at the Olympics. So in and around that, bruv, you got Snoop Dogg commenting on her post. You got all of these, Drake being like, let Sha'Carri run. So in her moment of disappointment and what is classed as her downfall, it's made her. She's now transcended the sport. Kanye West just dropped his new album. She's the music video.
Sharp. That's mad.
She's the music video. So what I'm talking about is sometimes
you never know what doors you might open by being yourself.
By being yourself, and also just, you never know what's going to happen in moments of distress, in moments what you might class as a downfall, moments of embarrassment. You never know what's going to happen.
I think they're exciting times because you just open new doors or create new moments,
idea.
You know?
No idea.
She's they were comparing her to the athlete that was a man and is now.
Yeah, so
they were comparing her being like, this person smoked a bit of weed, and you're telling me that it was her, right?
So what the thing is around some of the...
What do you think about that as well? I want to know your opinion on it.
So it's tough because obviously, like within sport, you do have to categorize men versus women.
Yeah.
I think what you're trying to say is that if you're allowing a man or female or pre-op female,
mad, you don't even know what to say because
it's hard. It's
like, creating stress, man.
It's creating stress, and I don't want to offend anyone. So you know, you're saying what you can within the best of your nature. But if you're allowing a pre-op female, to compete against females, however, in a different event, so they're pre-op, in a different event, you're capping certain people. So there's women who are not allowed to compete at the Olympics now because their natural testosterone levels are too high.
That's mad.
That doesn't make sense to me. So if someone's naturally that way and they're born a female, but yet someone who's not born a female and is pre-op but can still compete as a female, and then just because of the air of confusion around it, I'm not sat here to say what should happen and what shouldn't happen, but because there's confusion around it, there's someone who's smoked a bit of weed, which you wouldn't say is helping them in the sport, but it goes against the morality of the sport. That's what it's in line with. So when people are getting confused about it, because I'm in agreement, I get drug tested. You know, if I was to stay around your house tonight, I have to text a number to say the address that I'm at, because I can get randomly drug tested at any moment. If I miss 3 of them in 18 months, I get banned for 2 years.
This is we did a pod, me, James, with Sonny Webster. We spoke about this.
Obviously, unfortunate stuff happened to him in that circumstance. So, and
that's mad.
And that's what I'm talking about.
So you got to tell him you're staying around.
Bruv, I have to fill out a calendar 3 months in advance with my regular activities and give them 1 hour a day. I have to give 1 mandatory hour a day that I can get drug tested. In that mandatory hour, if I'm not there and they turn up, it's classed as a missed test. If you get 3 of those missed tests, then you're banned for 2 years. It happened to Christina Horigu. But equally, as well as that, they can still turn up. So if I have a job, or when I'm training, or if whatever regular activities I do in my day, they can just rock up. And if I'm not there, that's fine. But if I am there, then I have to. They have to test me. If you refuse, then
what's the test? Peace test.
It can be pee. It can be blood. Really? It can be both.
The man just come in suits, come sit down.
Bro,
in black, and then stick a needle in you.
Yeah, bro. During COVID, I was getting tested over Wi-Fi. I was FaceTime, and then you had to the way around it was what they were doing. So someone would turn up at the door, drop the box off, you take the box in, you FaceTime them, and obviously there's been mishaps. I think I don't know if this story is true, but I heard one story. Like again, so I'm saying this on file. I don't know if this is true, but one of the reasons when I get drug tested, obviously you got to pull your sleeves up, you got to pull your top up all the way up. And then you got to pull your pants down all the way to your knees. They have to see where the urine's coming from. Reason being is obviously because I think...
What?
Yeah, bro. And I've been doing this since I was 16. When I won the World Youth, that's the first time I got drug tested.
They need to see your dick.
They need to see where the urine is coming from. 100%. And reason being is I think, again, I don't know if this is true or not, but there was one story that happened way back. A guy was using his wife's urine, and he was putting it underneath his armpit, funneling the tube and pushing it through, because he was doping, and then it came back.
Was he Russian?
No, I don't know who he was, but supposedly it came back, and the sample was the fact that he was pregnant.
Shut up. And that's how they clocked.
I think so. Again, like I'm saying this on record. I do not know if this is true or not. Just something I've heard, but this is one of the reasons as to why they need to see.
That is mad.
Where it's coming from. But I've been like, and that's what I'm trying to say. And I had this conversation with Olima the other day.
What about with the women?
The women, yeah, they see, you know, they sat, they squat, they put the pot underneath.
And there's obviously, I'm assuming a female that's watching it.
Yeah, so it's of the same sex. It's always, when it's urine, it's always the person of the same sex.
Raw, so Bear Brothers walking around going, raw, I've seen Harry's.
Yep, you see my piece.
I've seen Bolt's piece.
Yep.
And the Anaconda just flying about and that.
I know. There's one athlete I do know, And the thing is, it's kind of mad.
Surely this must start rumours.
This is because it's mad because some of these people are volunteers. Like, they volunteer to do this stuff, innit?
That's
to
how
be involved.
you know it's spooky. That's how you know.
So, I don't know, like, I don't mind being drug tested because I would just like the rest of the world to have the same level of, drug testing that we have in the UK. They're on it. They are so on it. UCAD are on it. You want to know that the rest of the world is like that. But for some reason, when, like, obviously I've got a child now, they come at inconvenient times. Like, imagine Sunday, 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, or 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday, like, is not great. But point being is, I know some athletes that will purposely make it uncomfortable for them. So, like, I know one guy that if he pees, he'll make a point of finishing off with a poo. and they have to sit there and watch him do that. And it's like, I feel sorry for them because I'm like, you're just doing your job in it. Like, we need this in our sport. But just because he's just making a point of, he's like, sorry, if I pee, I've got a poo. So he's there.
That's too funny. What's the most random time or random place they've got you to do a test?
I always make sure that I fill it out so I'm always at home. Or at, like, my parents' house or someone's house. But the most inconvenient time is just if they come in the evening, if you're about to pop out. So for me, it hasn't been too bad in that circumstance because then your plans just get ended for the night. If you want to go into full detail and start writing down where you're going to be doing, like, your regular activities in terms of...
So what if man's on holiday?
Oh, yeah. You fill it out when you're on holiday. Yeah.
So what, I can't be Wanderlust, be like, tomorrow I'm going to Ibiza?
Yeah, you can. But you can. You change it. You just change it. And then if they choose to come and test, I've been tested all over the world. Yeah.
Like, so you can be in Ghana with family or something?
Yeah.
They just rock up?
They can rock up, yeah.
That is mad.
Like, that's the thing. When you're an athlete, you've got to think about it. Like, during COVID times, they were still coming and tested us. Because obviously, like... anyone can dope, anyone can use performance enhancing drugs, and you've just got to be responsible in that fact. Like, for me, I learned early on that I can't even take Benadryl. I can't even take that because it's got something in it that will make me fail a drug test. So there's certain things you've got to be careful of. And
so if I was a snake, right? Come over for dinner, Harry.
Yeah.
Come over.
Yeah.
Come on, little.
Yeah. Salt Bay,
them drugs.
but Ped Bay.
Ped Bay. You eat my food, you go home.
Yeah.
You get tested, boom.
Yep.
So you got
Yeah.
You can't be going to...
Bruv,
you could go to a competitor's house.
Yeah.
And they could snake you.
They could snake you if they really wanted to, but boy, that's deep. That's deep.
But they can.
They could. Technically, I don't know what...
I'm thinking outside the box.
Yeah, you're thinking way outside the box. I'm going to go around with my own cutlery now to people's houses.
Bro, that's actually mental.
But then equally, it's a mindful. But what it is, like, this is happening to me. You're saying that's a mindful. But
this is such a good insight in this stuff.
Yeah. But then equally, I'm posting videos on socials. And since day dot, people have been telling me since I was 16, I'm on drugs. I'm on steroids. Yeah, I'm on something.
This is pure Ghanaian genetics.
And lack of myostatin.
Yeah. Have you been accused of that?
Oh, bro, I didn't. I don't really know much about the platform Reddit. Okay. So I actually just put my name in there. It just says, bro, if there was one thing, was it natty or juice? Am I natural or juice? There was a column people just talking about, no way he's natural. No, like, it's just a fact. And I remember I posted a video on TikTok that went a bit viral. Videos go viral on TikTok, and it's just what it is. So there's a lot of people that don't know who I am, don't know the fact I'm Olympian. People are like, yeah, great body, but he's on that juice. Yeah. Which peds, and But
you know what I think it is as well? I think if they meet you, I think they'll have a different opinion because you're so lean. Like, you're a big guy. No offense, but you're not massive.
No.
In the sense, but you're so aesthetic, right? You got great genetics, but you obviously train very hard. I know because I've trained with him multiple times. So you saw a picture of him, right? And did you think he was bigger, like as in on the picture, than what you saw today? Not lean wise, but I'm talking about
general
size
mass.
I don't think I saw any difference. I think when you look at a picture, you always see the lighting always enhances muscle.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you looked at the photo, you'd probably think he's bigger. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
People think I'm 5'10". Some people are like, I thought you'd be taller. I run tall. Yeah. But equally 5'10", and like you said, with the sheer muscle mass, like obviously if I back a top off.
How much do you weigh?
85 kilo.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not even like
you're an athlete, bro.
Yeah, like.
But if you were on juice, you could easily go up to 100.
But that's what I mean. Some people like Olima is like he's 6 foot
on juice,
like 6'2", 6 foot,
yeah.
and he's just about 100 and
something,
105. Like,
yeah.
So for me to be 5'10" like this and be 100 kilo, that's with muscle.
Yeah.
But then people like it makes me laugh just because the conversations I try to educate some people, as you try to do.
Yeah.
I told you I'm nice.
Yeah.
I remember one of those comments. I said, "Guy, like, look, I get drug tested, blah blah blah, this and that," and they're like, "So have other athletes that have failed tests." Like, sometimes you can't win.
You can't win.
And even if you never fail a drug test, they're like, yeah, there's some people.
You know what there is as well, right? Which a lot of people don't know. And if you haven't been raised in a multicultural city, right, and you've never been exposed to like black kids, Nigerians, Ghanaians, Jamaicans at a young age, like I was at school. I remember being in year 6, and one of my boys, Shori, plays basketball. Yeah. He's played in America. He plays professional now.
Sick.
I remember looking at him going, Shori, you freak. I've never seen a physique like this. We're in year 6, man.
Yeah.
He's got like a fucking 8-pack. You know what I mean? So genetics does
play a massive part.
Play a part. And I've got multiple friends like this that have got like African background and whatever. So when people comment this stuff that I've never been exposed to different people from different places, like you look at Turks and you look at this, our hip structure is probably better for weightlifting and all this stuff. So they don't actually pay attention to this. They just hate straight away steroids.
Yep. It tends to be the people that obviously have tried either to do it, tried to get to a point, or have achieved it by doing that particular thing.
Yeah.
And I find it so interesting because some people will comment certain things on the page. I'm like, I actually don't even like. I'm so clueless to it, and I've had conversations with people at parties. I remember I went to one wedding way back in 2017, and I'm just chatting to these people, and I was like, do you know what? One guy said to me, so yeah, what are you taking? Like what you want? And I was like, dude, I wouldn't even tell you where to go to get it. It's one of those things, like, you know, when you're in a club, now we've all gone raving, and you know, there's some people doing some cocaine, like, do you know what I mean? They're doing something in the back. Like, I'm saying personally, I might have been friends with someone for like 4 or 5 years, and then someone tells me, they're like, yeah, they always do it. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm totally clueless because I don't know where you would go. I don't know how you get it. I don't know. That's the same thing with drugs. I'm clueless. I'm literally, and this guy wouldn't accept the fact that I was clueless to the fact. He was like, no, but you know you can get it here. You can get it. I'm like, well, you know where to get it.
Obviously, yeah.
I don't. Because I don't go to those commercial gyms. I don't go to them places where some people talk about needles being left out in places, or I'm at high performance centers. That's where I do my training. So for me personally, I've been sheltered from all of that. And that's a good thing because obviously I'm 32 years of age, been doing this sport half my life, for more than half my life. And to get to a point where I haven't a clue about what would actually be involved in that sort of perspective.
You don't need to.
You don't need to, but that's from a sport perspective because that's what people need to remember. I'm an athlete first. But no, I just find it so interesting. Like, I'd love to sit down and like you said, like, I will take any questions on anything about, because it's about education. If some people can appreciate and come see me train, like you said, you come along, you know.
I'll tell you what, the first time I saw him sprint, I swear to God, I thought a fucking Concorde was taking off. You know that foot drag thing you do? Like, it was mad. Do you remember me saying that?
Yeah.
I remember going,
what just happened?
What just happened? I'm going to send you a clip. You can add it to this.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a clip when we did the sled stuff.
Yeah, when we did the sled. That's the thing. And all it is just like, obviously some people need to appreciate, I like the term athleticism.
Yeah.
Because if you're athletic, then it allows you to cross over and be able to do a lot of different things. 100%. Hence the reason, I think being able to move as fast as I do is just because I can generate force. Being able to generate force would mean that I should be able to kick something fairly hard, which would mean that I should be able to move in some, you know, with some form of training. But equally, it means that I can jump high. It means that I can do different things. So, and that's why I love sport, because I'm actually half decent at.
Yeah, cool. Because everything you do,
pretty much everything,
you need rhythm, power, speed, create force, motor skills, whatever it is.
But then 2-2s asked me to play darts, asked me to play snooker, asked me to play ping pong, anything that has where you have to control the force. I'm dead. This guy is so fast twitch and so efficient with the way he uses his muscles that you'd struggle with sports like that. I'm so, me and ping pong. Me and table tennis. Oh my! I can't. Literally, there's no finesse. no finesse in the movement.
The ball goes through the wall. Or
Dart, same thing. Like I just 100% go ham or go home.
So when you've gone to the Olympics and all these events and stuff, from a young age, what moment were you like, raw, is that whoever? Have you ever had a moment like that? So
I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of people in sport. 2006, I got to meet, when I was a Nike athlete at the time, and there was a mad event with Michael Jordan, and I was fortunate enough to be taken. Like there was loads of us, all of us were Nike. It was like an audience with Michael Jordan.
You're telling me you met Jordan, bro?
Yeah, and I got taken into this back room, and I was like, "Rah, what's going on here?" And then there was Carlos Tevez, Mascherano, Theo Walcott, Philip Senderos, and Anton Ferdinand with DJ Spoonie. And I was just like, rah. And obviously I knew Theo because when I won Sports Personality, he finished second behind me. Jeez. A young sports personality behind me. So I was chatting to him, but his demeanour was totally different by then because he'd been at Arsenal for like a year now. So he was like the shirt was open. He was like, what's going on? I was just like, like you're balling, innit, man? It's just, I rocked up in a Corsa, whereas you rocked up in your like brand new GTI Golf or whatever it is that you're driving. And Philip Senderos was like a massive fan. We had no idea what was going to happen. We had no idea what was happening. And then all of a sudden, he came out from behind and boom, Michael Jordan just stood there. I was like, oh, that's Michael Jordan. So they took us all behind just to meet him. Whereas like there was probably another 100 Nike athletes out there that didn't have that opportunity. So we got to chat to him, have a good like...
So you got to talk with him? Yeah,
like a good 15, 20 minutes, like just...
The absolute goal.
Yeah, and then we went back to our seats where he spoke and he was interviewed by DJ Spoonie in front of everyone. And like that was one of those moments that I was like, okay, this is sport. But it was a bit unreal. Not that I made it, because I didn't, because I still went home to my mum and had to do some washing up or something. And that's what I'm talking about. Like,
imagine that. Yo, Jordan, what's going on, bro? You good, yeah? Your mum come on and you come on, Harry, do the washing.
Harry, have you unpacked? Come on. And it's just a bit mad because like, but that's the thing. It's like what it means to you, because obviously, like I said, I've been to sports personalities. Like, I remember being sat next to Lewis Hamilton at a stage. You know, like I think one of the maddest moments for me was when you meet people that mean something to you. Like I've met the Queen.
Oh, really?
I went to Buckingham Palace 2008, and the mad thing is, like, again, because maybe I don't see a lot of things. Not to say that I don't see a lot of things as a big deal, but I just ride the wave.
Yeah,
I'm just enjoying the wave. Like I remember turning up to my mum's house. And mum was like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going Buckingham Palace. She's like, to go do what? I'm going to go meet the Queen. Come on, go comb your hair. Come on. I was like, what? Made sure that I looked presentable. And yeah, that was amazing. But then it's like, when you meet someone, as being like a Man United fan, seeing Sir Alex Ferguson at One Sports Personality, I was like, oh my God. I was like hyperventilating. I couldn't believe that the man was in front of me, and he wasn't really doing photos with people. But I went up to him, I said, look, Sir Alex Ferguson, I'm a massive Man United fan. Can I please? Well, we better have a photo then. And like, to me, that was like a majestic moment. But answering your question in terms of when you've been to places and you've just gone raw. So again, our guys at the Olympics now, I've already seen a couple people take pictures with like Djokovic. I've seen him. I remember seeing Kobe. McDonald's in my era for the Olympics I've been at, McDonald's was free, like in the village there was a McDonald's. The partnership stopped now, so this is the first Olympics without a McDonald's. But you could rock up 24/7, whatever you want in the food hall, because the food hall's 24 hours, whatever you wanted. And then one time I seen Kobe trying to get his food, bare people hustling him, bare people just like, because it's Kobe Bryant, but obviously man just wants to get a. And then in that same Olympics, I remember like waking up early because I was always jet lagged in China. Because I never adhered to, I never switched up the sleep.
I'm always jet lagged in China.
China's the worst to travel to. So I remember just walking. I was by myself.
Yeah.
The air was hazy, and I was just walking. It was hot, and I see a group of people, like 5 people, crossing the road towards me, and I couldn't quite figure it out because football took part outside in Shanghai, elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and I was just like, nodded at the guy. The guy nodded at me. It's like, that's Ronaldinho.
No.
I was like, and my guy, they came from outside, coming to the village because the thing you forget is these footballers, the Olympic experience, even for them, is still something that they haven't
done,
yeah.
accomplished.
Do you know what I mean? It's still something they wanted. My guy obviously covered. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but there was a few girls obviously around him.
Yeah, of course.
It was Anderson and one other.
Ronaldinho's like that. He still is apparently. Yeah, he still is.
And I was crossing the road and my guy's there with it. I was like, Ronaldinho.
Bruv,
I just carried on to go get my lunch because I missed breakfast. And I just walked past Ronaldinho.
That's mad.
Yeah.
He's like one of my he's my favourite footballer of all time.
God tier. You would go get your phone and make sure you got that picture on the
I'll
selfie.
be like Ronaldinho Gaucho, bro.
Yes. Even seeing Pogba with him the other day. Pogba's showing homage. The guy, the flick-flack king. Boom, boom.
That's mad.
That's what I'm saying. So, and that's one thing I'm so thankful for in terms of, like, I've missed it this year.
Cool experiences, man.
Where I've been injured. Like, I've travelled, a good percentage of the world. I've covered over 40 countries. I've been able to see a lot of the world and see a lot of people.
Okay, so when you've gone to these countries to perform, whether it's for Olympics or any other comp, have you actually got to see the country for itself, or was it always I'm zoned in? I'm here for this.
It differs. So let's say, for example, in a Grand Prix scenario, some people, when you're seeing them travel to races for like where they're representing themselves.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
A Diamond League, a World Challenge, just a Grand Prix. 9 times out of 10, you fly in the day before or 2 days before.
Yeah.
Then you're there, you race, you go home.
Yeah.
Depending on when your flight is, you might be able to see what's around you.
Yeah.
Now, if it's, let's say, for example, a training camp, then there's a bit more fluidity to it. You'll make a point. Like when I first went to South Africa in 2010, that to me, my eyes were really opened in terms of, I've been there like 4 or 5 times and I love the place. And you can get so caught up in like how beautiful the country is.
Yeah.
But then equally, there's a part of the country that's just not, the disparity between the two. That's something that I was like, wow, you've seen that. And then obviously when you go to like the Olympics or World Championships, again, you've got a job at hand. But if it's far, then you might be at a training camp prior, and that's when you use the time to look around. I mean,
what was the furthest you travelled? Sydney?
Yeah, I've been to Commonwealth Games 2018. Was in
so how much time
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast.
So I was there for 5 weeks.
Okay.
So that's for a competition. But I've also been to, I did an Asian circuit one time, and I flew out to China and I raced in 2 days. And then after that, the next day, I then flew to Japan, was there for 2 days, then I raced, and then I was home.
That's mad.
And I was jet lagged.
Do you fly? Do they fly you business?
Nah. And that's what I'm pissed about right now, because I'm seeing pure people flying BA, flying this, flying that. Because obviously these guys are aware.
That's a huge impact on how you can perform.
Of course.
Of your legs.
Yeah. When they swell up.
Yeah. Your ankles and that.
Even like a 2-hour flight, you can feel it. But the thing is, the way it works is, I think it's quite interesting now because I'm seeing all of the Olympians now flying. They're all in business class and they're flying like premium economy or something. And it's quite funny because obviously these guys are aware that people are using phones now. So they want to support them. Now, coming back from Rio, if you medal, you got bumped up.
What?
Yeah. You were rewarded in that sense.
No way.
Yeah. Which is fair enough. I mean, if you want to upgrade, you can pay to upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've done that on a couple of occasions, depending on where you're going. But when it's a Grand Prix, the way it works for like a Grand Prix is like, think of that person as like an event, like a club host, or like they're doing an event. Yeah. They've got a budget. So they will pay for your flight and but they're trying to do it as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
They might pay you an appearance fee, but obviously if that appearance fee, or if you want to upgrade, one of the two, but not everyone gets an appearance fee. Only certain people with medals or that done well or certain names. And then you go then there's a prize money to be won. sometimes some people can go there and come back in debt because they might not have made any money and they got to pay for their parking at the airport. But it's jokes.
Is that any of your stories?
Bro, mate, yeah. Like, there'd be times I've gone and run a PB, come back and I'm in debt, but it's calm because I've run a PB.
What is your PB in 100 meters?
So I've run 10:08. So I've run 997 windy, 990 windy. The 997 felt proper.
Okay, so for people that wouldn't know what that is, what do you mean by windy? Normally?
So there's a wind limit, a legal wind limit, which is what's allowed behind you, is plus 2 meters per second, which is a very, very light breeze. Anything over that's even like 2.1.
And can you feel that when you're running, like the difference?
Yeah, definitely. Like, let's say, for example, let's just take the time 10 flat, for example.
Okay.
Let's say you run that in 0 wind, so the conditions are still. Now, if you had a plus 2 behind you, chances are that 10 flat could be 990, 988. It can make a 10th difference or so because obviously it's helping you move. Now, you could also run into a -2. So that 10 flat could now become 10.2. So you're talking about a sway of about 3-4 meters, whether the wind's in front of you or behind you.
There must be a thing with the athletes where if the wind is supporting them, if it's a 10 and it's gone 9 something, they definitely turn around and go, yeah, under 10 seconds.
The thing is, it's rounded up because it's to the 3,000th or something or other like that. So from that perspective, it is a tough one because, like, when you get altitude is also a factor.
Okay.
So if you can go to certain places, 1,000 meters is like the legal limit of altitude. So if you can go to certain places at like 998 meters, the air is thinner, so you can cut through it faster. Give yourself a +2 as well on the back of that. You'll see a mad time. But you've also got to be in shape to run it.
Okay.
You get me?
Because your conditioning has to be on point.
You've got to be able to run fast. You could go there, and if you're not running great, you might be able to improve on that. But if you want to run supersonic speeds, like, I know for a fact that for me personally, like, I know that I can go sub 10. I know it's within myself. I've just got to hit the right race.
Yeah.
Now, there's some people that can do it with their eyes closed, like a Suffer Powell. He's been doing it for a day dot. Everyone's different in their own type of ways. Like, I know that if I'm fitting healthy, 10-0's on the cards.
Have you met him?
A Suffer, brother, I'll be racing against him all the time. Like, my journey in this sport, obviously I've raced Bolt. I know Bolt. Like, I know a Suffer.
You know Bolt?
Well, he'd see me, he'd be like, what's up, Harry? Like, he always used to take the piss out of my size. He's like, Big Harry. All the Jamaicans would take the piss out of my big size.
They know it's the African.
But they're calm with it though. Them guys are, because Johan Blake, I beat him at my World Juniors.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I've grown up with him. Like, he's really cool. But then equally, I remember seeing him. I won the World Juniors, but he won the World Championships in 2011. And I remember getting into the lift with him. After he won, I said, "Oh, mate, congrats." I was like, "How's it feel?" He goes, "It feels good. You know, it feels just as good as what it might have felt like when you won the World Juniors." And I was just like, "Oh, that cut deep." He let me know that one. Like, but that's the thing. You don't realize what you do that can. Not to say that I inspired a guy or whatever,
others, but
does. You can give them more fire. You can add fuel to their fire. That's why I'm nice. I told you, I'm nice to people because I'm not trying to gas you. I'm not trying to make you want to beat me. Yeah, because there's been times.
You can't.
Exactly.
Because you can't.
There's been times where some people have got me so angry that I've refused to let them beat me.
Okay.
Whereas when someone's beaten me, I've gone, you know what? You deserve it. Go on. You can. I don't mind you having that one because I believe that there's enough success to go around.
Okay, yeah.
In a year, someone can run a fast time, someone can win a medal, someone can win a relay medal. So there's enough success to go around, and everyone's going to have their own moment. So I don't mind in certain circumstances helping. I'm a team player sometimes in the sense that I'll celebrate your success. Like when you got your whip, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It's not to say that I'm not going to get a good whip. It's not to say that nothing's good, not going to happen to me.
100%.
And that's what I'm all about. Them things. When I see my friends and people that I'm around and my circle grow, I'm like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think we need more of that in our generation and in our sports, and just a general ethos of surround yourself with greatness, because in that sort of mindset, you're only going to grow. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. Agreed.
That's what I'm about, man.
100%. So when you're racing someone like Bolt,
Oh, God.
is it a matter of everyone going, we're fucked?
Not really, you know. So for me personally, you use that energy
To fuel.
Yeah, use that energy. Use the factor if you can just get closer to him. Use the factor of let him, because when you run with people, you know, there's slipstreams in that capacity that you can try and like use that. The whole field is gonna run fast because of this guy. Yeah. Don't be scared. Like my mum and dad always say to me, "Come on, don't be scared of him. Come on, don't fear him. Only fear God. Don't fear him."
I know that is so accurate because I know I've got boys that are exactly like that.
Only fear God, mate. And use the energy that people get gassed when something man like him step on the track. Like, unfortunately at the moment, do you know what I say? Unfortunately. But I say fortunately because it's an opportunity for new stars to be made. We've got Trayvon Bromell, we've got Akani Simbini, Zarnell Hughes, CJ Uja. You know, there's you know, you got Adam Jamilis, there's so many more people that can make names for themselves right now.
Yeah.
I grew up and my journey was through an American and Jamaican dominance. Like, I probably had
timing, mad,
Tyson Gay, Asafah Powell, Bolt, Johan Blake. You know, there was all of these guys that like Walter Dix.
Yeah,
there was pure man that were coming out. If Usain wasn't there running 9.97, then Asafah was there running 9.8. If Asafah wasn't there, then Johan was there. If Johan wasn't there, then Gay was there. There was so many guys, and those guys are on the other side now. Where, you know, Asafah, I don't know what he's up to. Johan had some injuries, so he's still running, but you see him at the games. Trayvon Bromell, who's a New Balance athlete like me, he's looking like he's going to do something really big. But we had guys, no matter where, it kind of made people, you know, when I tell people my PB's 10.08, they're like, oh, not quite under 10 yet though, is it? And I'm there like, look, I still whip your ass, innit? Like, it's still rapid.
Yeah.
But those guys that came before, your Tyson Gage, your Bolts, because they were dropping times. Like, I remember being in a race watching Tyson Gage run 9.69 and going, wow. I was in a world record race when I was 16 watching Asafah run 9.77. I've been there and I've seen those speeds, but because those guys are running those times and making 9.9 and 10.0 look okay, like, this is what people need to remember. In the Olympic final, when someone finishes last, they're 8th best in the world right now. Yeah. Just because there's a gap, that does not mean that they're not shifting. It's just because your field of view makes that guy look faster than that guy. This guy's shifting, you know. That's what people don't recognise.
Mate, I know. And that's like what? What would you be? 0.001% of the...
Literally 0. You're half the percent of the world can move like that. Do you know what I mean? We're not talking about...
And it's amazing to watch.
Up close. I think when I did a little session with some people the other day, and I used two boys as an example. They were getting gassed off the speed of these boys, and like one was 16. He was moving, doing blocks. And I said to these guys, I said, "You're impressed by this, right?" They were like, "Yeah, they're moving so fast."
Watch me.
No, not even watch me. I said the times that they're running, I had a timing system, and I was timing them.
Yeah.
I said the time that these guys are running, our British women are running faster than them.
Mad.
And they were like, they couldn't fathom it. It's like, rah.
Yeah.
But if you see one of our girls not make the final, don't think that they're not moving fast. Don't think that's how fast people move. You get me? So for them, it wasn't the fact to say, this is how fast I can move. Women are beating them. Yeah. 16 and a 22-year-old boy, the women are moving faster than them. Just so you're aware, Dina Asher-Smith would have spanked them.
That's mad. So with that, like, we're currently in your home gym.
Yeah.
I've trained there before.
Mm-hmm. Harry's gym.
There's a total of 200 kilos in here.
Maybe a little bit more, you know.
And how much of that do you lift? You can lift all of it, no?
In a trap on my little trap bar deadlift. Yeah.
What's your back squat?
I don't back squat.
Oh yeah, that's right. You front squat.
Yeah, I front squat. I do a little bit. I've started doing a little bit of back squat because I like to just sort of offload the two, and I still want to be good at it, if that makes sense.
Because it doesn't transfer well to what you do?
No, not necessarily. For me, because when I was 17, I had back issues, and then so to this day now, when I spent that year out in 2007, I was actually in a back brace. I got a double pars stress fracture at L3, and then I got another one at L5 in 2013. So like my career, I've just managed that. Is affected my drive phase a bit, but yes, I get like a lot of acupuncture, so I just don't necessarily do a lot of things that would give me any form of bad form. So with a front squat, you've got to stay up tall with your chest, otherwise you're failing it. Anything going through your back, you can cheat a little bit. That's sliding forward, or if you're not prepared for something, not trying to make anything go. So front squat PB 200 kg, We do power cleans in here. 170 I've done. In here, do a lot of the trap bar deadlift. Most exercises that you see, compound lifts.
Yeah,
and
compound lifts.
obviously just moving in a type of way that allows me to move fast on track. Supersetting a lot of things, which some people agree with, something that some people don't.
Yeah. It's how you manipulate those weights, the volume and intensity that helps you
progress and use that overload in a certain perspective. Sometimes the body, the muscles have a short-term memory. So if you do something slow, you want to finish on something fast. So, the same way that people do drop sets, I'll go and jump. Yeah. And, if I've been doing squats, I'll just go and offload.
All you bodybuilders, you move slow, innit?
No, it's true. It's true. You're not incorporating any explosivity.
If you don't train fast, you won't be fast. If you train
exactly.
slow, you'll be slow. I remember that's one S&C coach told me that exact line, and I'll never forget that line.
And there you go. It's literally Bible. I think when you actually look at, because they're training for growth. And I've never trained for growth. I've never done anything really slow. I remember, obviously, I'm signed with USN, and they're predominantly a bodybuilding company. Yeah. So when I've jumped in and met some of the other fellow athletes and tried to jump in a training session with them,
no offense, a proper athlete.
No, do you know what's funny? They're like, it was quite funny when I first went over and I met some of the guys there. After a day or two, they're like, "You're right actually," and I was like, "Oh, thanks." They're like, "Yeah, we thought you might be a bit of a dick because you're, a proper athlete."
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
That's so funny. There you go. That's what they said themselves. Because they know. Because it's different, bro.
It's a different world. Obviously, standing... I'm not going to say it's similar to, in a category... For me, I can't fathom a world where I stand in front of someone and someone just judge me and say, "You're better than someone else."
From the way you look.
Yeah. So... It's a bit different when you're talking about skateboarding, gymnastics,
this is why there's a lot of insecurities in bodybuilding, and it creates such mental health issues with a lot of female bodybuilders and male bodybuilders. The only difference is the male bodybuilders don't talk about it as much as the females.
Yeah. So it's
men like to hide their feelings,
unfortunately, but it's good to talk, guys.
Exactly.
Come on, it's good to talk. We're here. It's right. Just pick up.
Hugs all around.
I don't mind.
What you were saying, what was I going to say? As one point I didn't want to forget.
We were talking about the slowness of speed of movement.
The slowness, okay, yes, yeah. Good man. As an athlete, professional athlete, Monday to Friday, for people that don't know how an athlete would train, could you give them a breakdown of your schedule of training? So it could be Monday weights, track, whatever. Yeah. So Monday to Friday maybe.
So I do actually only train really Monday to Friday. Okay. Now that I'm a dad, I like to make sure my weekends are free to help out where I can. So Monday, again, dependent on what time of year it is, whether I'm in the way you break down a year, you start your base training, higher volume, slower speeds, bigger lifts in the gym, October to December. Okay. December, you might introduce some speed. That's when things start to change. January, warm weather camp, training somewhere nice and hot, adding in a little bit more speed endurance and speed. Yeah. Then you compete through February, and then March to May, you'll go back into the similar phase that you did in around December to January.
Is that like a general prep phase?
More of a
building blocks.
Yeah. So general prep is earlier in October to December. Then it gets a bit more specific. December, January. Okay. You compete. So you get ready to compete through those 2 months for February and March. And then March, go back into that specific phase. So it's talking about your lactic sort of system, your speed, your max speed. And then you compete in May, end of April, May, all the way through the season ends in September. But you'll have your peaks and troughs and just maintaining your training through there. So how my week would look is Mondays tend to be my acceleration days. Yep. So I was at the track yesterday for 4 hours. I was doing sled, general warm up, and my warm up is quite substantial.
It's long.
You got your sled, do different movements over that. Then I was just doing 10s, I was doing 20s, and then after that I did a 120, and then I did a 250, and then I went into the gym just for some quick lifts. But then Tuesday I'll be doing
so about 4 or 5 hours of training.
Yeah, and then Tuesday will look like gym. Will just be a pure gym day. I'll do a warm up. I might go for a run, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, if that. And then I'll come in and do my lifts, power cleans, front squats. I do like a power circuit where I might do a step up, and then I'll do a jump, and then I'll do like a sort of hip lift type shift, or switching scissors or something like that. And then I'll do like a circuit, bit of conditioning type movements. Wednesday, back on the track.
Yep.
More speed endurance.
Yep.
So less acceleration work, more lactic. So talking like maybe like 5-6 150s with like 4 or 5 minutes in between.
Yep.
That's 150 meters.
Yep.
Thursday, same as Tuesday.
Yep.
And then Friday is going to be a bit of a hybrid, but dependent on where you are. So it might be specific speed, or it might be endurance. So let's say, for example, I might be doing hills.
Yep.
So 80-40 on hills, or I might be doing more endurance work with a little bit of speed to begin with. So maybe I'll do some block starts, and then I'll do my my endurance, or I might do some sled, and then I'll do my endurance, and then I'll have like a down day on Saturday, get my recovery in, and then have a day off on Sunday, maybe do some mobility, and that's that. But that's like a
How
vague.
often do you get treatment? Like
I'll probably get
massages?
treatment maybe like once a week.
Okay, yeah.
I
Just
used
some hands-on.
I used to be maybe like more dependent, maybe like 2 times a week.
Yeah.
But I think the way that we can look after ourselves now, something like I do need to do a bit more of is just sort of like, you know, just like self-care maintenance. I think that's quite something that you can look at. It's quite easy to have a physio, and then just because you get a lot of trackside assistance, like they're warming you up and whatever else, making sure your hips are loose. But for me, I would like to improve my hip mobility a bit more. So I need to come across and do, was it that animal flow? Maybe jump in that.
So look, anyone that's listening, when I always talk about, like, you know, when people talk about HIIT training, high intensity, all this stuff, and my argument has always been, and still always will, is that they're not training intensity, they're training volume. He's training for 4 hours, but every rep that he's doing through those repetitions is high intensity, as in high loads, running fast, explosive, high intense workout for a shorter period of time. And that is how you look like that. That is my point. And so I keep telling people how, like, when you're training, because you've been training for how many years now?
Oh, mate, I started when I was like 13.
Okay, so, and as his training years go up, his volume tends to probably drop, but his intensity goes up. And that's how you progress more, right? And my message to general population is, like, do volume, fine. But when he's training hard between his sets, he's training for 4 hours, he's doing, say, a heavy set, but then he's probably waiting like 2-3 minutes before he jump on to the next thing, so you can apply it again properly. Problem you have with general population, they're like, oh, I just did a rep, what do I do in between there? 90 seconds is too long. I'm like,
nah, you need to
chill. So your nervous system, you do it properly. Do you agree with that?
100%. I mean, what you would find is, because that's their currency, time is currency, innit? So for them, they're thinking that they need to spend it, when actually you can bank it and spend it on something properly. Do you know what I mean? So if you can accumulate those funds and buy yourself, you know, that big movement, that's what you're going to get. Whereas if you fatigue, so something that we do on the track is, if I'm timing any rep, now to get a gauge of, when I'm doing speed endurance, I take my, you know, I am aiming to fatigue myself. So obviously the 4 minutes I'm spending in between, I'm hardly recovered, but I'm going again. I've got to maintain the same sort of time. And then that's where you see yourself adapt over a few weeks, when your times get better during that session. Now, when I want to go max speed and I'm testing and I'm doing things at such a high velocity, we're talking like 15-20 minutes in between, because obviously, you know, that's just in between 1-2 reps. But like you said, but that's the specific sort of movements when I'm trying to hit those top end speeds. But saying that, like you've just said, in a 2-3 hour session, you know, I will, when I'm looking at my Whoop, for example, I'll burn like maybe 15, anything between 1,500 to 2,000 calories in a session. And that, you know, some people are looking for that when they're just trying to do their, it goes to show that you can take those pauses. Your heart rate will stay high in between.
People don't realize, when you're creating such force, you waste energy. And people don't realize this. People think, oh, high intensity, a couple reps. Obviously, the best way to grow muscle is high intensity with high volume. But you don't realize how much energy is wasted when you're creating force.
When you explain to them and say, Right now, I'm burning calories just because of my genetic makeup and size and build. So for every movement I do, think of it like, call it a muscle tax.
Yeah.
So because it costs more energy just to move, imagine when I apply the force through the muscle, it doubles as well as moving. So the intensity and the energy used to do that is so much greater. So when you do build that muscle and you've got the physique that you want, and then you're now trying to build strength, allow yourself the time to firstly recover. And then secondly, you can then apply the same amount of force during that process. And then even as you rest, you will still be burning calories because obviously you're still trying to recover from that process.
And I bet you make that calculation when you're doing a session. You're like, I can't do this today. It's too taxing on the body. Therefore, because I've got a big track day tomorrow.
100%. Your body is your best. The best thing you can do is to, be in tune with your body. Listen to your body. If your body's telling you something in the sense that it's saying that like something's too much, doesn't make you any weaker. It makes you smarter athlete.
100%.
Because then you'll be able to apply yourself better by doing something else or managing yourself in the way that will give you the opportunity to build moving forward. Some people just like to feel dead all the time and say, I worked so hard. There's nothing wrong with feeling fresh,
Yeah, exactly. Can I ask you quick fire questions?
Yeah.
Do you do bicep curls?
No.
Do you do tricep extensions?
No.
Do you do anything specifically to grow specific areas of your body?
No.
And he looks like this. And my point is to people, compound lifts. Get good at the basic fundamentals of movement, but just work on it to grow the intensity with that movement so you can look like my man here. Yes, I do it, but I don't hit that sort of intensity.
I mean, looking at it, I did a bench session with Olima the other day, and the only reason why I did that was
Boring,
because...
innit? It's boring, bro. It's boring. It's boring, innit?
It's bad. The only reason why I did that is because obviously, I've had this surgery. So I had surgery a few months ago on this leg. So obviously, I can't do anything lower body. So something we started doing. So over the course of 4 weeks, I just started benching. But because obviously I could... And I was just doing maybe one bench session a week. So I got up to 165 kilos. Maybe I failed at 175.
On a bench press.
Yeah. So this is just me but because obviously I've got muscle before, like, do you know what I mean? You don't necessarily need to, let's say, train a specific area to achieve certain things. If you train yourself in a certain perspective that allows you to be generally strong, generally fit with the compound lifts and everything that you're doing, with a little bit of sprints, a little bit of track work, it gives you the ability to then, if you decide to go down that route, you will, improve quite vastly at that, because I think there's still more that I could improve on in that particular movement. But I was just doing it because I just wanted to do something.
Yeah, of course.
And the guy was kind enough to help me out as well. So learning some tips from other people, which was quite nice. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I got to 165 over the course of doing some bench for like 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you were doing some bits with Olima.
Yeah.
So imagine what would happen if you trained with someone that knew what they were talking about.
look at here. The way my guy's like,
I'm waiting for that.
The way you guys cuss each other comes so easy to you, It's too easy.
Yeah. I've got some questions for you that I'll put on my story.
Sick.
All right. So first one is, how did he find the recovery from his leg injury he suffered at the competition mentally?
Do you know what? Mentally, I'm feeling it now.
Really?
Now I'm feeling it, because we took some time to decide whether to have surgery or not, because the injury involved my biceps femoris hamstring muscle.
Yeah.
So the biceps tendon, that's actually a fast acting tendon. I've torn and snapped my semitendon.
Okay.
And that was in 2010, and I've been fine. But as this is a fast-acting tendon, I haven't achieved what I wanted to do in the sport. I'm not Usain Bolt, so why am I handicapping myself? Okay. So we had to make the decision and say, you know what, this is the best thing to do. Once I had it, it was fine, because it was just sort of like going through that process, and it was a struggle. But I'm a bit like Wolverine. I recover really, really, really fast. But it just wasn't fast enough.
I love that.
Mate, superheroes are my language. Literally, if you talk superheroes, I recover like Wolverine. So, but when I started seeing the British champs happen and knowing that I couldn't get involved and give myself an opportunity to make the team, and athletics is starting in the next few days on the Olympics, like right now I'm just waking up, and because obviously they're 7 hours ahead or so, I'm just looking through my phone and I'm seeing the stories, but
because you know all of them as well.
It's tough. And now I'm feeling it, but giving myself purpose every day and giving myself reason to smile every day and knowing that I'm working towards something that I'm still going to achieve. You know, next year we've got world champs, Europeans and Commonwealths. It's tough because obviously I've got to get back to where I was, and I also want to be better than where I was, but that's my target and that's what I'm thinking about. So to answer that question, I'm struggling. It's a struggle, but you know, if there's not challenges enough in everyday life, you know, I'm quite fortunate to be in this position to class this as a struggle when there's some people struggling with, you know, adversities in their actual life and not being able to live life. So, you know, I'm quite fortunate, and I've just got to remember that there's still reasons to smile.
You stay focused, 100%. You've got a beautiful baby and family here.
Mate, that's what it's about.
Yeah. Okay, so this is funny. Not funny, but kind of what we were talking about. Does Harry's size actually slow him down? Would he be faster with a smaller stature?
Well, no, because I weigh 85 kilos. There was once upon a time I got down to about 81 and I felt weak.
You would, yeah.
I felt really, really weak.
But you weren't explosive. I
just felt weak in myself. Like I remember it was 2011, because that's the thing. Like as a young athlete, I remember talking to Michael Johnson about it. I remember talking to different people about it. I was like, do I need to be smaller? And when you're that size naturally as well, when you're not trying to be, I only started lifting in the gym when I was 20, 21. So when you're now trying to minimize size, this is my gift.
Yes.
This is my strength.
Yeah.
So just because other people don't have what I have, I'm trying to normalize myself.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. I'm trying to take away, like, you know, Samson had his hair.
Yeah.
Then he cut it. And then what happened? Samson and Delilah, you know, Delilah came off and gave him the trim. He lost his superpowers. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to minimize my superpowers. This is a strength of mine. So, you know, I believe that it's, you know, my powers, my strength comes from the way I am. And like you said, my build isn't, when you see me, I'm not actually out of proportion. I'm very much in proportion.
No, 100%. I agree.
I think people just need to, you know, when I do run fast, it's fine. But when you lose a race, people then would say, well, you could be. And they can't help it, because obviously when they see such an obvious thing that someone's not doing. When you look at Usain Bolt, everyone do your research. Go look at Bolt as a junior. Then go look at Bolt as a senior. The guy's wedge.
Yeah. He's big guy.
He's done bicep curls. These guys do conditioning and get bigger. Asafa Powell has got pecs. He actually tore his pec muscle one season because he was benching. Do you know what I mean? Like these guys, they actually go and get wedge. So it's just the fact that I've always been wedge. People assume that, you know, I shouldn't be, but it's just how it is.
Yeah. All right. How fast did Harry run at 17?
At 17, that was when I had my back injury. But I'd won the World Youths and World Juniors. I think by this point, at 16, my PB was 10:35. 17, I won the World Youths. I ran a windy 10:26 and ran 10:3. And then 18, I didn't have a time. And then 19, I went 10:10. Yeah, 10:1.
Last one. Got Alex here. How would I improve my block starts?
Oh, application of force is one thing, and it's dependent on who you are as an athlete. It's so hard. Like if you you know what it's like when I've done some sessions with you. Straight away, I can tell you how to improve your start in that moment, or you can go away, get stronger, get fitter, work on your engine, and then come back and learn how to apply force. So there's always a 1 and 2. It's sort of like you can keep improving yourself as a whole, and then come in and working on the technical aspect, or you can improve the technical aspect and then go work back on the engine and the force generation. But something I would say is just working on those first 3 steps and focusing on, you know, that intensity and giving each step purpose.
And time, I guess, right?
Massive.
Wicked. Guys, I think that was a sick episode.
Oh, I'm glad, man. I'm glad.
Thank you for... I don't even know how long that was. That was quite... Hour and 20.
Yeah,
really,
we've been able to sit through a proper storm.
Yeah, I didn't even I did write some notes down, but I didn't even look.
Problem is, we're mates. This is it.
That's what I'm saying. It's
just this is actually just a catch
these
up.
Conversations. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So when I came in, I was like, "Shh, don't say nothing, bro." Where can people find you? I'm sure they know where to find you, but
Insta. I drop little bits on YouTube. I mean, Insta's the main hub.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I'm about.
You know what? We got to do a vlog one day where you coach me.
Yeah.
Because he's a sick coach. He's a sick coach. I'm nagging him to do more of it. Guys, thank you very much for listening. Harry, thank you for coming on. Make
Thanks
sure you
for having
subscribe,
me.
share it with your friends and family, especially the athletes. Peace and love, and I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Love it.